In the world of professional golf, dominance isn't given. It's earned, hole by hole, round by round, season by season. And in 2025, there was one name that ruled them all: Scottie Scheffler. Oakmont Country Club, a battlefield dressed as a golf course. Its fairways were narrow, its greens unforgiving, its bunkers deep enough to bury dreams. Many had walked here with hope, only to leave with a crooked scorecard. But not Scottie. For months, he'd made the impossible look ordinary. Each swing calculated, each putt measured, each victory a reminder that he wasn't just playing golf, he was redefining it. The fans didn't ask if he would win the US Open. They asked by how much. He arrived that Thursday morning calm, precise, and unshakable. No nerves, no pressure. Just that familiar rhythm. Step, swing, stare, repeat. The way he carried himself said everything. He wasn't there to prove anything. He was there to continue what he'd already built, a legacy of control. The cameras followed him like a king walking through his castle. Commentators spoke of inevitability. Even his rivals admitted this was his championship to lose. But golf has a cruel sense of humor because every time the world crowns a favorite, the game finds a way to test the meaning of perfection. Somewhere beyond the spotlight, beyond the interviews and the pressure, another player was quietly making his way through the Oakmont gates. No crowd, no media, no expectations. His name was J.J. Spaun. To most, he was just another name on the tee sheet. A player you might skip past while scanning the leaderboard. No flashy sponsors, no big headlines, just a man with a bag, a dream, and nothing to lose. While Scottie's every move was analyzed and televised, Spaun warmed up in silence. He wasn't chasing history. He was chasing rhythm. That one pure feeling when the swing, the sound, and the sky all moved together. He said before the round that the moment felt surreal. Not nervous, not overwhelmed, just surreal. That's not how champions usually talk. But sometimes that kind of calm becomes the most dangerous weapon of all, because when you play with no fear, you play free. And at Oakmont, freedom is the rarest thing there is. As the sun cut through the morning haze, Scheffler began his round exactly as expected. Fairways found, greens hit, birdies tallied. Every shot a reminder of why he stood atop the world. But behind him, far from the cameras, Spaun was quietly stringing together something special. A rhythm that didn't shout, it whispered, no drama, no celebration. Just golf at its purest form. And by the time the first round ended, a strange shift began. Scheffler was leading, yes, but Spaun's name, buried deep on that digital leaderboard, had begun to climb. No one noticed at first. But golf stories rarely announce themselves early. They build quietly, slowly, until they can no longer be ignored. The US Open 2025 had begun like a coronation. But deep within Oakmont's brutal fairways, a storm was already forming, and neither the crowd, the cameras, nor even Scottie Scheffler himself saw it coming. Friday morning brought more than tension. It brought clouds. Oakmont's sky, once calm and clear, began to darken as the players took to the range. The air was heavy, thick with humidity and unspoken fear. Everyone could feel it. The storm was coming. By the time the first group teed off, the heavens opened. Rain poured down, soaking fairways, flooding bunkers, turning the greens into mirrors. For most players, it was chaos. But for J.J. Spaun, it was opportunity. While others cursed the weather and begged for mercy, Spaun smiled. This wasn't chaos to him, this was freedom. No expectations, no cameras, no noise. Just him and the game he loved. Scheffler, meanwhile, was doing what he always did, maintaining control. Even in the rain, he looked like a machine. His focus unbroken, his swing as smooth as ever. But Oakmont is not a course you can dominate. It's a course you survive. And when the greens turned slick and unpredictable, the smallest cracks began to appear. A missed read. A bogey from nowhere. A slight grimace from a man who never showed emotion. For Scottie Scheffler, it wasn't a collapse. It was something rarer, a flicker of humanity. On the broadcast, one commentator whispered, "He's not unraveling, but he's not invincible today." At the same time, Spaun was moving in silence. One hole at a time, his rhythm never broke. Fairway, green putt. Fairway, green putt. A flawless round unfolding under the kind of pressure that usually breaks lesser men. By the back nine, the numbers spoke louder than any highlight reel. While the giants of golf battled frustration, Spaun went bogey-free, carding a 66 on a day when par felt like a victory. Social media barely noticed at first. His name didn't trend, his shots weren't replayed. But by sunset, every golf analyst in the world was scrolling through the leaderboard with one question. Who is JJ Spaun, and how is he doing this? The whispers began to spread, from the locker rooms to the broadcast booths. Players peeked at his score, coaches replayed his swings. There was no magic shot, no miracle bounce, just relentless control. He wasn't overpowering the course. He was outsmarting it. As Scheffler walked off the 18th green, slightly drenched and visibly frustrated, Spaun was finishing his day with a calm that felt almost eerie. No fist pumps, no celebration, just a deep breath and a quiet nod to his caddy. By Friday evening, the leaderboard told a story no one expected. At the top, Scottie Scheffler, the world number one. Just beneath him, JJ Spaun, the man no one had noticed until now. The headlines were still about Scheffler's chase for another major, but the whispers had changed tone. Because golf fans know something the casual viewer doesn't. When an underdog finds rhythm, even the kings start to worry. Saturday was shaping up to be a fight. Not between rivals, but between belief and disbelief. Scheffler was supposed to own Oakmont. But by now, the course had a new heartbeat. And as the rain faded and the sun fell over Pennsylvania, one truth hung heavy in the air. Scottie Scheffler was still leading the U.S. Open, but it no longer felt like his tournament. Sunday, the air at Oakmont was electric. Not from thunder this time, but from tension. Every fan, every camera, every whisper in the gallery carried the same question. Could JJ Spaun actually finish this? He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to be paired with the world number one on the biggest stage in golf. But there he was, standing shoulder to shoulder with Scottie Scheffler on the first tee, calm, composed, and unshaken. The crowd knew who they'd come to see. Flags with Scheffler's name waved, chants echoed, and commentators called it a coronation round. Spaun didn't mind. He wasn't fighting the crowd or the moment. He was fighting the course. And himself. The first 9 holes told a quiet story. Scheffler looked steady, his drives pure, his putts crisp. Spaun, on the other hand, played with surgical patience. No risks, no nerves, just precision. Every par was a statement. I belong here. Then came the back 9, where tournaments are won and legends are made. At the 12th, Scheffler misread a downhill breaker by inches. At the 13th, Spaun chipped in from the fringe, a shot so delicate the crowd gasped before erupting in disbelief. Suddenly the lead was gone. The impossible was real. By the 16th, Scheffler's jaw tightened. The calm champion who'd ruled the sport with quiet dominance now looked uncertain. Every camera caught it. The slight pause before each swing. The deep breath before each putt. He wasn't losing his swing. He was losing control of the moment. Meanwhile, Spaun looked untouched by the storm. His heartbeat never changed. His routine never wavered. It was as if he'd been preparing for this all his life. The 18th green became the center of the golf world. Both men stood tied. One final hole, one final putt. Spaun faced a 64-foot uphill breaker, the kind of putt no one even dreams of making under this kind of pressure. Spectators held their breath. Even Scheffler, standing a few feet away, could only stare. Spaun stepped forward, no practice strokes, no hesitation, just belief. The ball rolled slowly, climbing the ridge, turning left, then right, defying gravity. For a moment, it looked like it would stop short. Then, it dropped. The sound that followed wasn't a cheer. It was a rupture, a collective explosion of disbelief, joy, and history colliding in a single second. Spaun lifted his head, stunned but calm. Scheffler looked on, expression unreadable. Not anger, not frustration, but awe. He hadn't been beaten by luck. He'd been overtaken by greatness. When the final card was signed and the trophy lifted, golf had a new story. The quiet man who entered Oakmont as an afterthought left it as a champion. Overnight, JJ Spaun's name leapt across headlines, ranking lists, and highlight reels. From unknown to unforgettable, in just 4 days, reporters called it the most stunning finish in U.S. Open history. Analysts said it was a shift in golf's balance of power. But for Spaun, it was simpler. He said, "It still feels surreal. And maybe that's what makes it perfect. Because moments like this don't feel real. They remind the world why we watch, why we dream, why we believe in the impossible." At Oakmont 2025, Scottie Scheffler didn't lose the U.S. Open. JJ Spaun won it and changed the sport forever.